for residential solar in Malaysia. I'm representing MPIA, Malaysia Photovoltaic Industry Associations, and currently we are welcoming anybody that interested to become an MPI member to register with us as well. Okay, let's look at the global overview for residential solar, particularly in residential solar. The residential market is actually have a CAGR growth at about 10% since when we take 2020 as base here, and from 2021 to 2026, which is what we're expecting with the past historical growth as well. So what are drivers that's supporting this growth in residential solar PV technology? Part of it, of course, the technological advancement on different twin panels, different technologies. You know, with the price of the panels went down in the past, probably not in the last few quarters, but it has been going down since. I mean, since when we are in the business, the panel has been like $1 per watt. Now is the lowest point that we get probably is like 20 cents per watt dollar. So we saw that the price degradation that has built more interest from residential market as well. Another thing is government policy, which is a strong driver that for any country, they want to build a strong residential solar policy that to give more, to attract more resi to install solar on their rooftop as well. And of course, the electricity tariff and also play a role as well. So some of the countries like Europe, US, I would say particularly in South Korea and Australia, that they really set renewable energy target to plan to increase residential solar PV system as well. In South Korea, they plan to generate 1 gigawatt of residential solar. And in United States, of course, it's one of the most growing residential solar market in the global. They set a new high target they have achieved a new high target in 2019 with 2.8 gigawatt installed in that year alone. So it is a growing market globally. But I think with all the markets that are 3 different markets, utility scale, commercial, industrial, residential, where are residential staying? I remember in the past, like 8-9 years ago, we're talking about just 10% competition out of 3 markets for that we have for solar PV markets for residentials. That now probably increased with the competition in between the 3 markets. So utility serve 66%, and commercial industrial serve 20% of for rooftop projects, and 30% of residential, which is I think is increased in the past as well. And we look at who are the countries that really have strong policies in driving residential solars. The strongest is, of course, US, that you have a lot of strong players in US to provide solar leasing program, even to residential, which is actually not available in Malaysia at the moment. And China, Japan, Australia, Germany, UK as well, that are really driving residential solar market. And let's pick an example. In South Australia, is actually they are meeting 100% of its needs from solar power. So this is the first in the world that in October of last year, that actually they have already achieved that 2005 rooftop system. Sorry, 2005 rooftop systems, and total they have about 300,000 installed rooftop system, that near to about 1 gigawatt for last year. So this is a huge market growth for residential solar. Okay, let's look at particular on the price that how it driven down in the past in Malaysia market. So I remember when we started the business in 2012, residential solar at that time FIT system, the market price is about 10,000 per kilowatt. That maybe in 2018 it dropped to 5,000 per kilowatt for overall system, and to this year, I think the market price is around 4,000 plus. So this is kind of meeting the market expectations recently, especially last year, that it started to create a lot of market interest to install rooftop solar, and we do expect that if the panel price back to normal, that we should achieve about 3,006 or below 3,005 in the next few years. are programs that in the past for Malaysia government to promote rooftop residential solar. The first program was from Surya 1000, which is since 2016. Is the first starting point at how we promote rooftop solar, especially in residential, that we have a policy and we have energy kind of energy saving to the household as well. And to that, I think from all the effort from the team from Surya 1000 as well, we have actually enabled the policy in FIT. So FIT that time, I still remember when in the past, all people focusing on non-individual system. In fact, when in 2011 or 12, that not much interest from household, from individual applications. Example, when we started to promote the FIT system. So by that time, to 2013, when we see the quota, the FIT quota almost finished, and a lot of effort from SEDA to promote FIT system to the public, that it started to, I think I remember is August of 2013, that it started to finish. It started to being grabbed everything that available in the quota. So anytime the individual FIT quota coming out, I think it will just finish in a few hours for the quota to be grabbed by the public. So by that time, I think all the people, all household individual applicants already started to know that installing solar in FIT system can give you a source of income for your rooftop. Then by that, in 2016, we moved to NEM, which NEM 1.0, it is not that attractive due to the tariff. It's not one-to-one offset. And when we do one-to-one offset in 2.0, then it starts to create a lot of demand as well. And until now, I think NEM 2.3.0, we also create more market interest right now. We can look at the data with residential markets compared to non-residentials as well. So you can see that, start to 2017, it's very low take-up rate. 2018, 2019, when we do one-to-one offset, then it start to get a lot of market interest that it create about 3.6 to 3.7 mega. Then last year, with the price degradations, move to a more shorter break-even time, then actually we have increased that the whole market is take up 20 megawatt. So even though it's still very much more smaller market, but 20 megawatt jump is a significant growing for the past from the past year. So let's look at the latest for residentials. We have NEM Rakyat for NEM 3.0. Now we have actually we still have 90 megawatt system in NEM quota to be grabbed, and it's actually available up to 2023 for this quota. So, but we believe with the rate take-up rate now, it should actually be able to finish it. And we hope that, of course, the panel price will be back to normal, and then the break-even time will be shorter and shorter, and probably there are more budget or encouraging policy from the government will push to finish this 90 megawatt as well. And with the Nova, I think that for commercial industrial, left about 63 megawatt. So I think this will be finished very soon. Okay, let's look at the tariff. The residential tariffs is really, Malaysia is relatively cheap. So that's why it makes the break-even time is a bit longer, such as like 6 to 7 years. Sometime previously, up to 10 years, that's why the take-up rate is low. Due to price reductions, the system price reductions, then it go to 6 to 7 years now. So look at the tariff that Malaysia have. For the first 200 kilowatt hour, you get 218 cents. Then it go to 334 cents. Then the highest bracket that you actually need to pay about 57 cents. So we overall can average up, with if your bill falling into 500 to 1,000 ringgit, probably your average bill per kilowatt hour is about 40 over cents. So you can use that 40 over cents to calculate your break-even time when you pay for a PV system, like how much equivalent to how long of energy bill that you can pay. Okay, other than in fact, actually in Malaysia we only have capex model. because nobody offer the leasing model for residential solar system. But alternatively, then from you yourself paying 40,000, 30,000 one shot by yourself, you can actually take up financing program from the bank, which is like saying about you can actually take up a loan by I think most of them are operating under the credit card scheme that you can pay within you can split to 6 to 36 months of installments with zero interest installment plan. So that is one of the options, that if your bill that falling above 500 ringgit, then that will make sense for you to take the installment and also install solar on your rooftop for household. So some of the banks below that, as far as we know, they provide this package to the public, and you can of course contact them for further details. Okay, let's explain about the reason of low take-up rate for residential consumers. One of the things that you can see that MPIA keep on asking for tax incentive. We want the government to give a little bit of a token or credit to the people who install solar system to residential or even the commercial industrial system. Yes, there is a tax incentive system, but that tax incentive to the individual will actually increase interest from residential as well. Okay, some of the MPIA stand that for how we can grow residential's market more. So we always hope that we talk to financial institutions. We want to make it to a very simple model, just like a car loan, no fixed interest rate, and the process is simple. When you go to bank, you have standard process to finance the solar. So I think things are much more better than in the past when we have the banks program like just now. In the past, you can't even have that. Banks, go into the banks and you say you want to finance solar system, that they couldn't find actually a structure, a system that allowed them to do that. I think things has been improved now, and the more simple we make it to be, and then it will actually make it more people to have interest to finance the solar system that they install in their household. The second thing is always, like I mentioned just now, we always put a wish list to the MOF every time when we submit our opinion for the budget, that we want income tax exemptions, some part of the income tax exemptions for the people who install solar system as an individual. So that will be a good boost, boost to the market, residential solar market, if this is able to be put into our Malaysia budget. And somehow, of course, to give a tax incentive is always a challenging part for the Malaysian government to plan the budget. But we want the government, we always give a different angle to the government to look at different perspective. When personal income tax that give some incentive is actually grow the GDP, the economy in the market in terms of the contributions for more solar system, individual solar system sales as well. So we want to put this angle to the government that how you actually didn't lose the tax, you gain more at another side. Okay, what is the solar future of solar residential solar? What is the outlook of it? From last time with FIT system until NEM, that we do see that this is a growing trend, and to finance or to install a residential solar in the retrofit system, I think it's still quite challenging. So we always believe that solar ready home is an emerging trend, that there are more developers are working to design a house that you can pre-install solar PV system and to put as a value add of your property projects or of your development. So this will soon to become a new development standard, which we believe. And with Malaysia, we don't have a peak off-peak tariff for our residential tariff. But once if the electricity price is going up and everything, so if we have peak issues, then storage technology will come in to help that to to grow property in the residential solar as well, just like in Australia. So of course, even without the peak off-peak policy, then the cost continue to go down. If the cost continue to go down for the storage, we don't even need NEM policy to install solar PV system in a residential. So we can just install the storage. Then when we don't use it in the morning, the storage will store the energy, then it will actually be used at night as well. Another way to actually grow residential solar, of course, is the P2P energy trading. We can allow if we allow to sell the energy in the morning when we don't use it through P2P trading program, then of course it will increase the interest from the consumer to install solar PV system on their rooftop. So this option empower consumer with more choice, so we don't just depend on NEM program. So especially to the consumer without any roof to install as well. That's a short introductions to our local PV market for residential solar, and of course we can discuss it further if you have any questions in the panel session later. Thank you, Liang.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, on the insightful sharing. So for the next presenter, the next speaker of today is from KVC, Mr. Lee. So he has been working in KVC for the past 2 years as a business development role. So prior to that, he has obtained a Master of Renewable Energy from University of Malaya. And today he is more focused, together with the team, he's focused on developing and expanding the renewable energy solution portfolios to ensure that the customers have access to a more seamless turnkey supply solution in the solar scenario. So without further ado, I'll just pass my screen over to Mr. Lee to explain to us what are the KVC's XD solution, XD turnkey supply solar solutions that we provide to our customers.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar. I'm Wen Han from KVC. Today, I'm going to talk to you about KVC's solar PV turnkey supply structured solution. So 2 years ago, when I first joined KVC, we were primarily the supplier for Huawei's smart PV inverter solutions. But as time evolves, a lot of inquiries, more and more inquiries are from our customers asking our support for them in other balance of systems, including the solar PV mounting structures, the DC cables, the solar PV modules, and etc. So we took it upon ourselves and we told ourselves that within 1 or 2 years' time, we want to have a full, seamless, and all-encompassing supply solution to our customer in Malaysian market. So today, in my discussion agenda, I will introduce to you what are the solutions available to you in residential solutions, and what are the solutions that are available now from our technology partner, and what are our KVC's added value services. So before diving deep into our main topic today, allow me to introduce my company, KVC, which was established in 1989, which was 32 years ago. As time evolved, we have expanded our business to be involved in 12 vertical markets, utility being one of them that we are in discussion today. And today we have 600 associates to serve after 6,000 active customers. Where I want to highlight here is that we have 80 product specialists here. Majority of us are of science and engineering background. We are here to support our customer in terms of a pre-sales, design, and technical support, as well as after-sales commissioning support. And to date, our performance is around 530 million across these few years. And in addition to that, we have more than 20 sales office being distributed across nationwide. So be it you are from the East Malaysia, the Northern Malaysia, Southern Malaysia, Eastern Malaysia, or even the Central Malaysia, rest assured we have enough sales force at your disposal to service your inquiry. So moving forward to our main topic today, we are delighted to introduce to you our structured solution for our solar PV turnkey supply, where we bring forth to you an all-encompassing and seamless procurement experience for your solar PV projects. So our technology partner here includes mainly Huawei and Clenergy, as well as the balance of system and solar PV module from Jinko, and the rest at the right column of my slides. Looking at our KVC structured residential solution here, you can see that we are offering Huawei's Smart Energy Center here, which is the brain, heart and soul of the entire system. With the combination of a smart power sensor and the options to retrofit smart string energy storage system, and also the optimizer solution, we provide flexibility for your design to cater for all scenarios, be it the export limited challenging scenario or the energy storage battery solution scenario. We are ready for that. And having said that, this is especially useful when our current NEM Rakyat scheme has the tenure of 10 years. Thereafter, you need to convert it into self-consumption configuration. Our solution here is future-proof and is ready for that. In moving forward, we are also having a support from the Jinko Solar side. We actually have a 465 and a 530 for our market now. Whereas last but not least is our technology partner from Clenergy, where Clenergy has the solution for all kinds of roof for different scenarios, be it a tile roof scenario, metal deck scenario, concrete flat roof scenario. Or if your site has space, for example, those bungalow has space for residential carport, we also have a solution ready for that. And other than solar PV main components, we are also carrying flow and hierarchy testing and measurement tools, where you can utilize it for your NEM load profile studies, as well as your NEM thermal imaging activities. Next, we also have Wade-Muller PV connectors, as well as crimping tools. And for cable wise, we have a DC cable from Prysmian, and also the data cables, communication cables from Belden. Diving deeper with the full optimizer solution, we are able to have a rapid shutdown for your safety, for site safety, as well as a flexible long string design to resolve the issue of a challenging rooftop scenario. So all in all, our system design philosophy is that we want to help you and your customer to optimize your electricity costs, while at the same time ensuring active safety with our AI boosted upward circuit interrupter solution, and all in all providing you a better experience in installation as well as commissioning and operation. Next, Clenergy's PV EasyRack roof series are able to cater for all scenarios. So in a residential scenario where there are various of different type of rooftop, be it a standing seam, trapezoidal, corrugated, tile roof, or even flat roof, we have all the solution ready for you. And we have a dedicated engineering team to help you to design according to your roof limitation or specific requirements. Next, looking at our watertight PV EasyRack Easy Shade 2, the solution that was featured and it is all pre-related. We can, according to the configuration, the layout, helping you to design dedicated PV. For the gap between the panels, the short side and the long side PV, we have solutions to direct the water flow towards the gutter to help you ensuring there is no leakage at your customer side. Last but not least, a recap on what are the balance of system that we have. DC cable from Prysmian, RS45 cable from Belden, the PV connectors and crimping tools from Wade-Muller, DC AC SPD from Novaris, digital power meters and MCB from Schneider Electric, and Fluke and Hyoki for the testing and measurement tools. On top of our solar PV turnkey supply, our added value services include engineering design support. Where we have a dedicated engineering team to provide you exclusive product training or solution recommendations on the solar PV inverters configuration, PV simulation, Clenergy PV mounting rack design and commissioning, as well as our after-sales commissioning and support. On top of our solar PV turnkey supply and our engineering services, our team are very well supported by our robust supply chain, which is well developed, well oiled, and polished over 30 years. So with this well integrated systematic supply chain, we are able to support a turnover of 30 to 50 megawatt supply per quarter. Next, introducing to our RA service team here, we have Keith, me, myself, Wei Jie, and also Lai at your disposal for our services. Last, all in all, KVC having 30 years of experience in distribution business, we are delighted to position ourselves as your turnkey supplier, where we provide you a seamless and also all-encompassing procurement experience with our full range of solar PV components support, coupled with our dedicated specialist team of engineers and our warehousing and logistic facilities. We are able to provide you a unique proposition where traditionally you have to deal with multiple suppliers, even for small residential project, to procure all your components. But today you have an option where KVC provide a platform to help you save your time, save your effort, and a more efficient receiving, especially in a residential scenario. So with that being said, I end my presentation and sharing here. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, we can address it during the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Over to you, Raymond.
All right, thanks, Mr. Lee. Thanks for Mr. Lee on the sharing on the solution that's provided by KVC. So now we move on with a very short quiz, probably a 5-minute quiz to just brighten up the mood. So prepare your phone, prepare your QR code. I'll just share the QR code for the quiz, so for you to enter into the quiz. Before that, I would like to remind you that the quiz is only limited to 100 participants, so it's best for you to make it fast. Okay. Okay, please scan your QR code over here. If your name is in, you're supposed to see, I believe that if you're in there, I suppose that you can see your name on the screen right now. I see Andrew, I see Mr. Andrew, CC Kelly. We have 10 participants now. 17, 23. 31. All right, keep it coming, keep it coming. Okay, just to remind you how does this quiz work is that you have to be the fastest and also you have to get the correct answer. So I will choose the top 5 of this quiz, then you're entitled for a special gift from us from KVC. So once again, just to remind you that the tip of this quiz is to be the fastest and also to be the most correct, and also to choose the most correct answer. So we are 58 now, 61. Do I see 70 numbers? I see a 63. Any more participants that would like to share the QR code, to scan the QR code to enter this quiz? So the questions will be reflected on your phone screen. Yeah, just to remind you, the questions will be reflected on your phone screen. The QR code that you're actually that you added into. I see a 70. Do we get an 80?
2点。明天是吗？
Do I see an 80? I think I see a 73. Do we get a 75? 73 going once, going twice. Okay, 74. I think we can start in probably when we reach 80. Okay, I think we can start the quiz for now. So be ready, be quick, and be prompt on the answer submitting. Yeah, so we will start now. So what are the Malaysian solar programs for residential consumers since year 2006? So this has been shared by Mr. Davis earlier. So is it Surya 1000, feed-in tariff, NEM, or is it all of the above? So we have 53% who chose Surya 1000. Some of them have chose FIT, 6% will chose NEM. So what is the correct answer over here? So it's all of the above, because as the question implies, is that what are the promotion programs since 2006? So of course, it's ranging from 2006, Surya 1000, 2011, the feed-in tariff, and also 2016, which is an NEM energy metering. So there are 27% of you who got it correct. So let's see who are the top 5. Mr. KKY, Andrew Lim, Sam, MCC, and DC. So the other 70 people, please buckle up and let's go for the next question. So the second question is, what are the current financing options for residential solar consumers? Outright purchase, credit card, 0% interest installment plans, or is it all of the above? So I see most of 86% of you have chose all of the above. Let's see whether this is the correct answer. Yes, it is the correct answer. 86 of you have got it correct. So let's see who is the top again. So DC, KKY, Andrew Lee. I see a new guy. I see a new person over here, JY and Sam. All right, keep it up. And for the third question, what is the residential NEM uptick trend in 2020? This was also shared in Mr. Davis' slide earlier in regards to the residential NEM uptick. Is it 19.6, 3.6? So I see most of you have chose, 48% of you have chose 19.6 megawatt AC. So let's see if it is the correct answer. Yes, it is the correct answer. So let's see who are the top 5 again. So I see JY, KKY, MCC, PWY, and KS. So these are the top 5. So we have 2 more questions left. So to the remaining 70 people who wishes to get to this top 5, please buckle up. So let's look at the 4th question. So what are the XD solutions provided by KVC? Engineering design support, solar PV component supply, or third solar PV installation? So let's see. So it's 1, 2. I see most of you have chose 1, 2, and 3. So what is the correct answer? Which is 1 and 2. So I'd like to emphasize here, there might be some misconceptions that KVC is doing PV installation, but I'd like to clear this up. So in KVC, we are just purely doing designing support and also solar PV component supply, just to not confuse our audience today. So roughly, I'd just like to repeat myself is that we don't do solar PV installation. So for the 57% of you here, please take note on this. Okay, so moving on the 5th question. Sorry, before we go to the 5th question, we will see who are the top 5 again. KKY, MCC, PWY, DC, and CVAM. So for the remaining 70 people, please, once again, read the questions and buckle up. So the last question for today, what are the solar product portfolios included in KVC's XD turnkey supply besides Huawei and Clean Energy? Besides Huawei and Clean Energy. So it's all of the above. So have any of the choose none of the above? No, right? Okay, so this is the correct answer, all of the above. So we supply DC cable, which is Prysmian, solar module, we're working with Jinko, and PV connectors, we're working with Muller. So let's see, who are the top 5 who will be entitled for this special gift from KVC? So congratulations to PWY, KKY, DC, MCC, and Andrew Lim. So I will, going back to this, how do you actually claim your gift from the KVC is that you have to send your email to me. So let me just share to you the subject of email that like you to send over. Okay, so to the top 5 winners that we saw earlier, please drop me an email at wj.leong@kvc.com.my with subject stating KVC webinar gift redemption. So I repeat myself, for the top 5 winners, please drop me an email, wj.leong@kvc.com.my with subject KVC webinar gift redemption. So for the top 5 winners, please, if you need to screenshot this or you need to take a picture, by all means, please do. and drop me an email and we'll send the gifts over to you. Okay, so moving on to the next presenter of today, we have the third speaker of the day is a registered professional engineer with extensive experience in design, construction, and commissioning of solar PV projects. And prior to that, he has had 5 years past experience as an electrical maintenance engineer in a gas turbine power plant. So I'd like to pass the floor over to Mr. Jason Kang, Solution Manager of Huawei, to present to us on the Luna 2000 Smart Energy Storage Solutions for a residential scenario. So Mr. Jason, please take it away.
Okay. All right. First, let me share my screen. Okay, you can see my screen now, Richard.
Yes, Jason.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm going to present on the Huawei's residential smart energy storage, as well as our other smart PV solutions products. Okay. So without further ado, let's dive into the next slides. Okay. Firstly, let me introduce our company so that you guys are more confident with our products and also see where we stand in the market. Yeah. As you may have known, Huawei, we are the world leading ICT solution provider. We are known for our involvement in the 5G technology, our smartphones, laptops, and we are also a PV solution provider, yeah, supplier. Okay, yeah, our business operation, we have covered more than 170 countries and regions. So if you look at it, that's basically almost every part of the world already lah. Okay, so currently we are ranked number 49 in the Fortune Global 500. Okay, we have a total of 194,000 employees worldwide. And if you look at the figure, half of our employees are actually from R&D division. Yeah, so in Huawei, we strive to develop new technology and products to give the best to our clients. Okay, so overall, we have 14 research institutes. And currently, we are ranked number 3 in the R&D investment. Okay. Over the past 2 years, we have faced many challenges as well as uncertainties. Yeah, especially during this world pandemic period. However, due to the strong support from our global customers and partners, we actually achieved quite a solid operating result last year. If you look at the figure here, we have our sales revenue of 136.7 billion US dollar. Yeah, so that's a year-over-year increase of 11.1%. Okay, one of the main reasons we are where we are today is due to our heavy investment in R&D. Okay, for the past 10 years, we have invested more than 100 billion US dollar. So basically, that's averagely that's about 10 to 16% of our annual revenue is invested in R&D, and we intend to do the same in the next 5 years. Okay, if you look at the chart on the right, according to the 2020 EU Industrial R&D Investment Scoreboard, we are ranked number 3 in the industrial R&D investment. Okay, the combined investment of Cisco, Nokia, and also Ericsson, actually we surpassed the combined investment from these 3 companies. Yeah, okay, that's our telco competitor. Okay, 6 years ago, if you look at it, we were ranked number 15. Yeah, and then 2 years ago in 2019, we were ranked number 5, and last year we were ranked number 3. So I believe it's just a matter of time that we will climb at the top spot. Okay, this is the topology of our residential scenario, the product range that we can provide to our clients. Okay, so let me turn on my pointer. Okay, here you have the we have our smart energy center, our inverter here. We have 2 types of our inverter for residential solution. We have L1 inverter for the single phase, and we have our M1 inverter for the 3-phase. So for the single phase, the power output range would be from 2 to 6 kilowatt, which is suitable for NEM 3.0. Yeah, if you look at it, it is actually capped at 4 kilowatt AC. And then we have our M1 inverter here with the power output range of 3 to 10 kilowatt. And again, it's suitable for the NEM 3.0 because it is capped at 10 kilowatt. Okay, and here we have our smart string ESS, yeah, our battery solution. Okay, here we have three types of capacity. Okay, we have 5 kilowatt hour, we have 10 kilowatt hour, as well as 15 kilowatt hour. And the good thing about it is that you can actually parallel it into two systems of one inverter, and then the maximum capacity will be 30 kilowatt hour. And then here we have the backup box. So this backup box is actually very suitable for those affected by the grid disturbance issues, for example, like frequent blackouts and trippings from the grid. Okay. Here we have the our optimizer. Yeah. For now, the optimizer is actually suitable for 450 watt peak PV modules. Later on in Q3 or Q4 this year, we will release a bigger capacity, which is 600 watt peak, which is suitable for 600 watt peak panel. Yeah. Okay, here we have our communication device, our smart dongle. Okay, we have two types of smart dongle here, WLAN FE. If let's say your house there's a Wi-Fi connection, you can actually use this smart dongle WLAN FE. If let's say you know there's no Wi-Fi connection, you actually can use smart dongle 4G, whereby you have to purchase the mini SIM card to be installed in this smart dongle 4G. Okay, and then the inverter performance data will then be uploaded to the cloud, yeah, for your viewing purpose. Okay, and then here we have the smart power sensor. This is something like a DPM, so you can use this for the zero export capability, the feature. Okay, so we have for single phase as well as the three-phase smart power sensor. And lastly, of course, we have our monitoring portal, Fusion Solar. Actually, this one you can access through the website or the apps through your phone. Yeah. Okay, these are the three main pillars that we stand on, whereby we are able to provide to our client or user with optimal electricity costs, firstly. Okay, and then we also comply with the high safety standard. Yeah, as safety is our top priority, especially we know that you have your loved ones living under the roof, right? So you have your toddlers, your kids, your old parents or grandparents living under the roof. So safety is really our top priority. And lastly, we would like to give, with our products, we would like to give a better user experience as well. Okay, looking at this configuration, let's dive into the first point, yeah, how we optimize the electricity cost. Okay, as you can see here, we have the PV modules on top of the roof, and then at the same time, you also have the battery solution, which is, two systems in parallel connected to one inverter. So what happened is that during daytime, the PV generates electricity for the in-house use, yeah, and then at the same time, in parallel, it charges the energy storage. So what happens during nighttime is that the energy storage will then discharge the energy. As we know that during nighttime, the electricity consumption is much higher. Yeah, you have your air cons and so on and so forth. So in overall, this type of solution, this type of system, actually, it reduces your monthly bill tremendously. Okay, this is how our smart string ESS looks like. Okay, so you have your on top here, you have your power module. Okay, and then this power module actually is like the brain of the system. Yeah, so you have your BMS, your communication system on top here, and then you can actually maximize the battery module. Yeah, 3 numbers of battery module. So each of this battery module actually the capacity is 5 kilowatt hour. So in this picture itself is 15 kilowatt hour capacity. So our battery modules actually it has this built-in energy optimizer. Okay, so what it does is that it controls the charge and discharge current of each battery module independently. Yeah, independently. All right. So let's take a look at the diagram here on the right. Okay, so here is the Huawei solution. On the left here is the other battery solution. Okay, so let me define to you what's the difference between SOH and also SOC. So for SOH, actually is state of health of the battery. So this represents the percentage of the current battery capacity in comparison to the factory capacity of the new battery. So in reality, when you purchase a new battery, when you install a new battery, the SOH will be actually 100% lah. Okay, so SOC is a state of charge. It indicates the remaining capacity of a battery at that particular time. So let's take a look at the example of this first one, right, from the other supplier. So what happened if let's say we have an old battery on top here, the SOH is 60%. So when you install a new battery, in this case it's 3 battery modules, right? They install a 3 battery module. So what happens is that when you charge it, it will not go to 100% even though the SOH is 100%. So it's actually kept at this the old battery SOH at 60%. Yeah. Whereby for Huawei solution, what it does is that, like I mentioned just now, we have this our very own built-in energy optimizer. Okay, so even though the old battery, the SOH is 60%, when you couple it with the new battery, it actually can charge it to 100%. Yeah, so the performance of the battery is much better, and as it should be. Okay, for this style of scenario, here you have the two power modules on top, and then with the battery modules at the bottom here. So here you can actually size up to 30 kilowatt-hour battery storage. Yeah. So these two BESS actually they are connected to the one single inverter. As mentioned here, one battery module, the weight is actually is about 50 kilogram. So for the installation, you just require 2 people to actually do the lifting. So you don't have to require extra lifting tools. Okay. And then for our DOD, our depth of discharge, it's actually at 100%, which means that you can actually discharge it 100%, meaning to say that you can use as much as energy as you pay for. Yeah. So just to highlight here, the installation method here, you can have 2 types. You can have floor standing as well as the wall mount type of installation. Yeah. So for the parallel operating, if you look at the graph here on the y-axis, here is the capacity of the battery, up to 30 kilowatt-hour, and then here is the discharge power by the battery. So if let's say you install, the black color here is the power module, and the white color here is the battery module. So in this case, for this particular picture here, is a 5 kilowatt-hour capacity. So the discharge power will then be 2.5 kilowatt. Yeah. So if let's say you use one power module, with another 2 to 3 battery modules, so the capacity here would be 10 kilowatt-hour and also 15 kilowatt-hour. So if let's say you have this type of configuration, your discharge power will then be 5 kilowatt. Yeah. Unlike for if let's say you parallel it 2 systems, 2 power modules into one inverter, then you have a higher power rating, like you have 10 kilowatt discharge power here. Okay, here we have our battery system control mode setting. Yeah. So as you can see here, this can be accessed through the Fusion Solar app. So you can choose 3 types of control mode: maximum self-consumption, fully fed to the grid, as well as the time of use. So for the maximum self-consumption, is actually a default setting from Huawei. So what happens is that during daytime, the PV energy is actually prioritized to feed for the in-house use. Yeah, and then the excess energy will then be used to charge the battery. Okay, so if let's say there's still excess of energy, then the excess will then be transferred to the grid, so sell to TNB. So what happens during nighttime is that the battery will be discharged. Okay, so insufficient energy, right, will then be obtained from the grid. If let's say during nighttime the consumption is higher, so the battery will then be depleted during the discharge. So in short, maximum self-consumption is actually to use it to reduce the monthly electricity bill cost. Okay, whereby this is actually a default setting. Yeah. So the second setting will be the fully fed to the grid. What happens is that during daytime, the PV energy is prioritized to feed to the grid, sell to TNB. Okay, then the excess energy will then, if let's say there's excess energy, it will be used to charge the battery. Okay, if let's say PV energy is weak, for example, during the evening, right, so you don't have the irradiance drop, the battery will then be discharged to the grid. Okay, so same thing during nighttime, the battery also will be discharged, and then insufficient energy will then be obtained from the grid during nighttime. So in short, this control mode actually fits as much as energy as possible back to the grid, selling back to TNB. Okay, and then lastly, you have this TOU or time of use function. This is actually very useful for the electricity bill with the peak rate and off-peak rate. For example, you have this tariff C2, E2, or E3. So you actually can use this time of use. Okay, so what happens is that during peak rate, right? So the rate is higher. The battery will be discharged to supply to the load. Okay, so that you don't draw much energy from the grid. Yeah. And then during the off-peak rate, the battery will then be charged from the grid. Okay, so from here, this type of function, it can also reduce your electricity bill. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so our battery solution actually come with this 2 times power battery ready. Okay, for example, you have a 10 kilowatt peak system on top of the roof, right? So your 5 KTL inverter actually can output 5 kilowatt AC. Okay, at the same time, it also another 5 kilowatt will then be used to charge the battery. So maybe I'll just illustrate this in the next slide. Yeah, so yeah, as you can see here on the Huawei solution is on the right, our competitor solution is on the left. Say you have a 10 kilowatt peak solution, right? So what happens is that our inverter will output a 5 kilowatt AC for the in-house use, and the remaining 5 kilowatt will then be used for the battery storage to charge the battery. For our competitor solution is that they will not be able to charge this this battery storage at 5 kilowatt as ours. So it means our solution to charge the battery is much faster. Okay. Okay, so these are common problems that we have for PV installation in residential scenario. For example, you have shading issues, right? And then you can see here clearly also there's a shading issues here. And then different azimuth. For example, as we know, our residential rooftop, it comes with multiple orientation, right? So, yeah. And then another issue is that you have a different tilt angle for the roof. So these are the problems that can cause the mismatch of the string. Okay, so for what we cater, how we solve this problem is that by using our optimizer. For example, right, as you can see here with the optimizer, if let's say there's a shading happens in this panel, and the performance will then, the yield will drop to 85%. So the adjacent panel, which is connected to the same string as this panel, the performance of those panels will drop as well. If let's say with the use of Huawei's optimizer, only the affected area, the performance will drop, and then the remaining panels which are connected to the same in the same string, their performance will still be optimized. Yeah. So what we can say, the energy yield difference, it can go up to 30% more energy. Okay, this is just a comparison case for the one with optimizer and without optimizer. So the orange color is to represent without optimizer, and also the blue ones are the ones with the optimizer. So what happened here is that same configuration, same orientation, and all this. The energy that we get is 10 to 13% higher than the non-optimizer. Okay, with the optimizer as well, you actually can design with a long and also flexible string design. So for example, in this particular picture, right, there's a total of 25 pieces of PV panels. Okay, so for other solution, you can see here there is multiple roof orientation and all this. So yeah, for other solution, they might need to put in different strings connected to the inverter, and they might even require more than one inverter. In this case, it's 2 inverters. Yeah. So for our solution, you actually, with the use of optimizer, you actually can size up, put in one string these 25 PV modules, and then one cable back to the inverter. So what happens if you do this, and then your capex cost, for example, the cable length and also the connectors will be reduced. Yeah, not to mention the labor cost as well. Yeah. One more point to add here is that the DC-AC oversizing, typically the oversizing would be from 1.1 to 1.3 for residential. But in this case, if you have the budget, you can go for 2.0 DC-AC oversizing. Okay. Okay, let's talk about safety. Yeah. So for our battery solution, we have 3-layer protection. Okay. So I'm sure you guys still remember the Samsung Note 7 explosion, issue, the battery issue back in 2016. Yeah. So actually, we have 3-layer of protection. Here you can see here is the cell level protection, battery level module protection, pack level, and then also you have the system level protection. So in the cell itself, right, we use a lithium iron phosphate. So this lithium iron phosphate cell, actually they have a very high thermal runaway. Yeah, it can go up to 480 degrees Celsius operation. At the same time, it doesn't produce oxygen during its operation. So we know that fire feeds on oxygen. So that's one of the ways to mitigate the fire issue. Yeah. And then for the pack level, yeah, battery module level, we have 8 sensors per pack and to monitor the cell temperature. So if anything goes wrong, the battery module will then be turned off. Okay. And lastly, we have this system level protection. Okay, it has this auto isolation on faulty pack, yeah, which is actually compliance to the VDE 2510 here. This is a German safety standard, yeah. So in short, what I would like to highlight is that our battery storage solution is actually safe to be installed within the house perimeter, yeah. Okay, let's talk about arcing. Yeah, so this DC arcing is actually is quite common. Yeah? It can happen in these poor joints in the modules, and then broken DC cable as well as loosened PV connectors. So when this arcing happens, the temperature can go up to 3000 degrees Celsius and easily start fire. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. As you know that under the roof there you have your loved ones. Yeah, and to detect this arc fault is quite a challenge. Okay, as mentioned here, the arc noise is actually generally very weak and it only accounts for 0.1% of the operating current. Yeah, so it's very difficult to detect this arc fault. Another challenge would be the interference, interference from inverter, for example. The inverter is actually packed with power electronics, so during its operation, it will cause interference. Yeah, so and then the load, and also you have the grid interference as well. So to detect this arc fault signal is actually pretty tough. Yeah. So our inverter is actually equipped with this AI-powered AFCI. So as I mentioned, these are the common problems that can cause arc fault. Yeah. So our inverter has this self-learning capability to accurately protect the system from arc fault even under complex noise. So let's take a look at how it works. Yeah. So for example, we have arc fault occurs in this particular panel. Okay, the arc fault happens here. And then the signal will then be sent to the inverter. And then our inverter has this AI technology to actually filter whether it's an actual arc fault or interference and so on and so forth. And then it will filter all this, and this happens in milliseconds. Yeah. So when arc fault actually is detected, the inverter will then be turned off within 0.5 seconds. So what differentiates us in comparison to our competitor is that our AI AFCI actually has a very high accuracy detection. So false tripping can be avoided. Okay, as you can see here, once it's turned off, the signal will then be sent to the user, and then you actually can pinpoint where the arc fault happens if with the use of the optimizer. If let's say without the optimizer, you actually can detect it at the string level. Yep. Okay, whatever we have claimed that we mentioned to our clients and all this, we always back with the third-party certification. As you can see here, actually we are in compliance to the IEC standard, IEC 63027. For now, it's still in the draft stage before its official publication. But the requirements for the IEC standard is pretty much finalized. As you can see here, the shutdown time for the IEC standard is less than 2.5 seconds, but our inverter is actually able to shut down less than 0.5 seconds. So the reasons we can achieve this is because we detect the arc energy at a lower range. You can see here is 500 joule, while the requirement is 750 joule. Yep. And another feature is that we can pinpoint where the arc fault actually occurs, like I showed to you in the slides just now. Okay. Of course, this is with the use of the optimizer. Another safety requirements is that with the optimizer, right? If let's say there's any fire or during the maintenance wise, with the use of optimizer, the output of each panel is actually 0 volt. Yeah, so it's safe to actually perform maintenance work, or if let's say a firefighter requires to go up there, it's pretty safe for them to climb up to the rooftop. Okay. Okay, let's talk about how our solution can give a better user experience. Okay, with the range of product that we offer, like I mentioned just now, you have your optimizer, your battery, inverter, your fusion solar app, backup box, and so on and so forth. you can see that we provide a one-fits-all solution for the PV system. Yeah. So the best thing of having these Huawei products all in place is that the compatibility of the products and the overall operation of the system is actually pretty seamless. Yeah. You can see in this particular slide. So once all of these Huawei products, right, optimizer, battery storage, and all this, during the commissioning stage and during the setting up, it takes less than 3 minutes, yeah, to set up all of these devices. Whereby for other solutions it takes longer than that. Okay, if you notice, our inverter actually comes with without fuse, and there's no LCD, there's no buttons on it, so it's as simple as it can be. So the reason we don't put all of these components, actually these are the quick wear parts. These are the components that can cause the downtime to the inverter. So without all these components, the downtime can be reduced. Yeah. And then for our natural cooling technology, yeah, this technology is not developed just from solar technology, but also from our telco adaptation. So to give the best heat dissipation solution of the inverter. As you can see here, at the fins here, you have multiple designs. So this is the best heat dissipation solution that we can come up with. Yeah. So meaning to say, by having all this, we don't require fan, for the cooling purpose. So without fan means there's no noise generated, less noise generated from the inverter, less power consumption from the inverter as well. Okay, and of course we have this TUV certified, for our failure rate as well as our availability rate, 99.996%. This technical due diligence report actually was assessed in a period of 3 years, yeah, in China for a 220 megawatt plant. Okay. So to sum up, these are the 9 innovations that I've mentioned just now. To sum up, we are able to provide to our users with the best technology and highly innovative products out there in the market to give for you guys. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jason. So I think we have one question from the floor. This is from Tanraj, right? Okay, so Jason, if you're still on the line. Okay, the question raised by Tanraj is that I believe LiP4, LiPo will need BMS. BMS can be very sensitive and cause battery to damage over time. So what's the take on this for Huawei batteries?
Yeah, our cell is actually made from lithium iron phosphate. So the BMS is actually installed on the top of the power module. So it's like a battery management system, right? So we have 8 sensors installed at each of the battery modules. So what happens is that when the temperature reaches up to 170 degrees Celsius, the BMS will then turn off the battery module independently. So let's say you have 3 battery modules, on top 1, 2, 3, right? So if let's say the temperature reaches up to 170 degrees, the power module, which is equipped with the BMS, will then turn off that particular battery module, which means that it works independently.
Right. I hope this answers your question, Mr. Tanraj. So if you have further questions regarding on this, by all means, please type out in the chat room. And I think thanks, Mr. Jason. So I think we'll move on to the next presenter of today, which is Mr. Rafael. Thanks, Mr. Jason. So the next presenter of today is from Clenergy. So he's been in renewables and technical design industry for almost 13 years, in which he has developed skills on technical design, comprehension, and project management. For the past 6 years, he has been directly involved in design for PV and mounting for more than 800 megawatts worth of projects. So I'd like to pass the floor over to Mr. Rafael Mendoza to share us on Clenergy's PV EasyRack solar roof solutions. So Mr. Rafael, please take it away.
So good afternoon. Can you see my screen and can you hear me clear? Hello?
Yes, Rafael, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rafael Mendoza. So I'm the PV Systems Engineer of Clenergy. So what I will be presenting today is mostly our rooftop products for commercial and residential roof, and I will also give a short background of Cleanergy. So let's start. So about Cleanergy, so we are founded in Melbourne, Australia in 2007, and we are a publicly listed company in Shanghai Stock Exchange since 2017. So we are an industry leader with over 10 gigawatt of worldwide installations, and we are number one in Australia. We are also a top 5 solar in APAC. So our core business is more of supply for projects or EPC, and we also develop our own projects. And one of the main is we are offering solar racking products in the countries that we support. So for our financials, we have a gross asset of around 351 million US dollars. So our global offices are mainly in the APAC region, and we have our offices also in Australia and in Germany. So we have also applied for maybe around 20 or 50 certifications worldwide. So the most common of it is the OSAS 18001, which is the Occupational Health and Safety Management System. We also have the Dun and Bradstreet, the Intertex Electrical Testing Lab, and we have the MCS BBA 0140. So another certifications that we have applied and approved was the ISO 9001, the ISO 14001, the TUV Rhineland, and the Conforme Européenne in EU's new approach directives. So I will just show you some of the projects that we supply throughout Asia Pacific and other countries. So we have the 4.77 megawatt rooftop in Batangas. We have the ground mount 80 megawatt in Vietnam, and 11 megawatt also in Thailand, and another 20 megawatt in Lawag, Philippines. So in general, we already supplied 1.5 gigawatt of installation in the Southeast Asia. So there's also some projects in Korea, around 1.6 megawatt, carport in Bangkok, ground mount in Thailand also, and another 8 megawatt ground mount in Thailand. So in general, we are also supplying around 44 megawatt in Malaysia, and we also supplied around 7 to 8 megawatt on 4 airports also in Malaysia. So for our PV AC Rock solar roof solutions, so we have most commonly supplied in Australia. So we supply in every type of roof. So we can supply in corrugated, trapezoidal, clip block, roof tile, flat tile, and every type of tile or type of roof that we can see throughout our products. So I will explain later on the products that we supply for these types of roof. Okay, so we also have a non-penetrative and penetrative solution depending on the roof type. So we have the L-fit, the rails, clip lock, tilted solution, every possible solution that needed to mount PV on top of the roof. So my main agenda for today is to discuss the mounting solutions for different types of roof. So what I will be discussing is the roof types that we are usually encountering, our products and applications, and some of the accessories that we are also providing. So let's start with the roof type. So in general, there are several roof types as we encounter on a day-to-day concerns. So we have the tin roof, in which the tin roof is mainly more of a metal roof. So the metal roof, we have the angularity, we have the standing seam, we have the hidden buckle, trapezoidal, and corrugated. So for the tile roof, we have some tile roof, flat roof, shingles, and every other type of roof that installed on a wood rafter. And for flat roof, it focus only on the flat roof, which is the concrete or polyurethane insulation or something like that. So moving forward, so in general, for our trapezoidal and corrugated roof, we can only provide a penetrative solution, which is the L-fit and rail. So in general, what we are providing as most common solution there is in the market is we have the L-fit, the DT rail, which is our top rail for Malaysian market, and we have the splice, and we just connect interclamp and end clamp. So in general, the end clamp and interclamp will vary depending on the size of the PB or height of the PB based on your requirements. And the length of rail also varies depending on the PB arrangement. So in general, this is the most common solution for any penetrative solution that the market requires. Moving forward, for trapezoidal and corrugated roof, we have a patented M module and easy click. So it offers very easy and quick installation. So we also have a tolerance for adjusting on-site installation. So as we know, most of the roofs, they are not quite that flat. So we need to adjust the height depending on the requirement to make sure that our installation of the PB is aligned. So energy design mounting system based on local standards and requirements. So as I discussed earlier, we are supplying to various countries and various standards around the world. So in general, we design the mounting system based on your local standards. So if it's in Malaysia, then we follow the Malaysian standards. If it's in Japan, then we follow the Japanese, and so on and so forth. So moving forward, so we have another solution, which is the penetrative solution, which is the commercial tilt. So the difference of this one to the previous solution is this one, we can tilt the PB depending on the requirement. So if you are only using the L feet and rail, the general slope of the PB will be depending on the slope of the roof. However, if the slope of the roof is quite very small and we need to generate more power, we need to tilt the PB depending on our location. So in general, what we offer is a penetrative solution in which we can generally tilt our PB based on our requirement. So the main parts of it are still the L feet, the screw. We replace the rail. Previously, we are using the DT rail, but now we are using the egg rail. Then we will have the front leg and rear leg. So as you can see, there's some spaces in between the tilted PB to prevent shading. So moving forward, so another solution for a tin roof is what we call the non-penetrative solution. So we have two options. So first, we have the clip lock plus L feet plus rail, or we also have the clip lock plus rail. So in general, it really depends on the client's requirement or site requirements, what is the solution that we can present to the market. So in general, the way to install it is we have our clip lock. So our clip lock will be depending on the roof type. Then we will attach our DT rail to it, connect it with the splice, and we also have the end clamp and mid clamp. So we also have another option. If there is a PV requirement for some clearance between the PV and the roof, so we also have an option to add an L feet. So this will give us enough clearance based on PV requirements. So the way to install it is we will install first our clip lock, then we will put our L feet on top of our clip lock, and then again use the DT rail and end clamps and mid clamps. So moving forward, so these are some of the clip lock that we are providing. So as you could see, there are several clip lock that that's are allowable on the market or available on the market. So we have, I think, around 15 to 20 different clip lock. So what we want or what we need is to identify which clip lock is the most suitable based on your requirement. So we have some angularity. So we have the clip lock interface for 06. So we have the hidden clip lock. The standing seams are the most common. So another type of the clip lock solutions is we have the standing seam 22, and we have the interface for long line, and we have the clip lock interface for 400 to 700. As we know, clip lock are quite very huge in the rooftop business. So in general, if there are some clip lock that we don't have a proper solution, then in general, we can use our universal clip lock. So our universal clip lock is suitable to any type of clip lock roofing that is available in the market. So in general, if you are looking for a more economical and more suitable clip lock to support all your needs, then I would suggest to have our universal clip lock supplied to you. So moving forward, so for tin roof and trapezoidal and corrugated for clip lock, so with patented M module, Solar Roof offers easy and very quick installation. So as you can see, when we already mount our clip lock on the roof, our rail installation is quite very easy. Just mount the rail on top of the clip lock and tighten the bolt. And also that goes along with our end clamp and mid clamp. So you'll just need to click the end clamp and mid clamp along the rail. So we, as I mentioned, we are offering 15 or more different clip lock to choose depending on roof specification. And another option is to add an LP to meet PB clearance from roof as part of the requirements. So moving forward, so another solution that we are offering is penetrative solution for roof tile. So as we know, there are several different types of tile in the market. So we are also offering different type of solution based on the needs. So we have ERI01, ERI02 for mostly likely flat tile, ERI51, and ERI23 for a landscape or portrait orientation. So as you know, there are different type of tiles. We have the slate, terracotta tiles, Spanish tiles. We have singles. So what we offer is a suitable solution based on each requirement. So there are no possibility that a single tile will fit generally on all types of roof tile. So we have almost 10 to 15 products of roof tile alone to serve the market needs. So moving forward, so for tin and tile roof, in general, our mounting system can be installed or can be used for a landscape or portrait orientation. We can use frame or frameless PB depending on your needs. So for the wind load, we can customize it. So as you know, as I mentioned, we are designing the mounting system based on each local standards. So for roof type, we can supply to any type of roof, tin, tile, or clip lock. We all have the solution for that. And for the building height, we can design it initially up to 10 meters and up to roof angle of 60 degrees. So for our main structure, it's all aluminum and it's all aluminum and stainless steel. And for the standard, as I mentioned, we follow each country standards with regards to this the design. For the warranty of our products, we offer 12 years warranty. As I know, most common mounting system are only offering 10 years, but Cleanergy offers 12 years of product warranty for the mounting system. Moving forward, we will discuss the Cleanergy solution for a flat roof. So in general, the most common solution that we are offering for a flat roof is what we call the solar tripod. So the solar tripod is one of our versatile solution in general. The reason for this one is we can install the tripod directly on a concrete roof, or we can supply a ballast where we can install our tripod. So it really depends on your client requirements. If they allow to have a concrete roof penetration on their existing concrete with waterproofing, then we can install it directly on the concrete. Otherwise, we can provide the ballast dimension and size to you, and you just need to put the tripod on top of it. So in general, the main parts of our tripod system is the tripod. So we also have the rail clamp to attach our rail to the tripod, the splice to connect the rails, and we have the interclamp and end clamp. So as I mentioned earlier, end clamp and mid clamp depends on the PB height and depends on the type of PB that you are using. But this type of solution, we are already supplied this in Malaysia market, and this can withstand a very high wind condition or requirement. So moving forward, so for flat roof, so it's a pre-assembled support design that allows the installation can be done within a short time frame. So in general, as we supply our tripod on site, it's already pre-assembled. So as I mentioned, it's a versatile mounting system that can be installed on concrete ballast or concrete roof. Steel framing is also an option depending on the client request. And it's an innovative design that makes tripod light and very cost effective. So in general, we can also design the tripod mounting system depending on the tilt as required by the client. We can have it around 5, 10, I think even 8 degrees if it's really needed, 12 or 15. So it's a very versatile product for a concrete roof solution. So for solar light tripod, we can also have the layout in portrait or landscape. We can have the modules in frame or frameless. So for the wind load, yeah, we can design it based on your requirement. So for roof type, yeah, we can also use it for tin roof, but this type of product are most commonly used in flat roof. So we can design up to 20 meters building height and up to 15-degree tilt. So for the main structure, it's mostly composed of aluminum, AL6005T5, and most of the fasteners are stainless steel. So for the standards, we follow the standard requirement based on each country's needs. Forward, another solution that we are offering for a flat roof is what we call the COMT. So it's a south or north facing solution. So for this one, it's very easy to install. So we only have the base and the front leg and rear leg, then the end clamp and mid clamp. So in generally, this is also an option for a flat roof if you are requiring to have a low wind speed requirement. The concern with this one is we can place the ballast in between the spaces of our arrays. So as you can see in the picture. So this is also an option if it's needed to be supplied, especially for Malaysia market. Moving forward, another option is the east and west facing. So in general, it's the same as the north and south facing. The only difference for this solution is the rear leg. So we still have the base in which we can also place the ballast on it. On the base, we will place the front leg and rear leg, and we will just install the PB on it using the end clamp and mid clamp. So for in general, the last part of my presentation is more of the on the accessories. So in general, Clenergy offer different type of accessories as the client needs. So we have the grounding lug to connect the grounding from the PV to earth, and we have the grounding clip to connect the grounding of the PV to the rail. We also have the universal cable clip or for cable management, and we also offer walkways depending on your requirement. In general, that is my presentation for today. So if you can subscribe to our newsletter, so you can keep up with, you can have all the progressive developments happening within our world, and you won't miss a thing. So if you want to contact us, you can email us at clenergy.com, or you can email me directly at Rafael Mendoza at clenergy.com, and you can follow our Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram or Twitter. You can also join our Clenergy group or a learning group or a Clenergy club in Facebook. So thank you, and I hope you I hope you learned something on my presentation.
Thanks, Mr. Rafael. So once again, I'd like to remind all of you, if you have any questions that you may need to be answered, please, by all means, please type out in this comment section. So moving on to the next agenda is that we have our second quiz. So once again, I would like to remind you that this quiz is only limited to 100 people, and it will only based on the top 5. So once again, the tip is that to get it as fast as you can, and also to get the correct answer. So once again, please, I need your help to scan the QR code, and your name should appear on the screen right over here. So this second quiz will be based on the presentation given by Mr. Jason and also Mr. Rafael, mainly on the Huawei and also Clenergy's solution. So I see a 23, 25, 26. So do I get 100 for this session? Because we had a 75 people for the previous session. So let's see if we can achieve 100 for this session. Okay, I see a lot of people. I see a guest. So if you can, maybe you put a more complete name instead of initials, because we might afraid that we may be confused with a different person with the same initial. So if you can, please put a name which is more recognizable. So in order to prevent any confusions in terms of the gift redemption. So I see it's 47. Do we get a 50? Do we get a 50 people? So once again, I'd like to repeat that the tip for this quiz is that you need to be as fast as you can, and also to get the correct answers. So I see a 50. I see a 51. Do we get a 60? Do we get a 60? I see a 52. Do you get a 60 for this round? I see few of the familiar names, but can I see some of the names which are not more familiar that you didn't participate in the previous session? Do I see your name? Hopefully I can see your name now. I see a 58. Do I get a 65? Do I get a 65? 59 going once. Do I get a 60? 59 going, I get a 60. Do we get a 65? Do I get a 61? Do I get a 65? Okay, 61 going once. 61 going twice. All right, then we can start today's second quiz session. So the first question is presented by Mr. Jason. So Huawei is ranked number what in the industrial R&D investment? So this was actually presented by Mr. Jason earlier. So is it first, second, or third, or fourth? So Huawei is ranked number what in the industrial R&D investment? So I see majority of you has chose number one, which is 49%, and some second highest will be 47%, which is at rank number 3. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is number 3. So Huawei is ranked number 3 in industrial R&D investment, which is ranked higher than Apple and Intel, as what Mr. Jason has mentioned in his slide earlier. So for the second, before we go to the second question, who is the first one? Wen Han, Ms. Chong, Buzz, WNFA, and also Chang Wei. So the second question is, single unit of Huawei Sun 2000 inverters are able to connect up to how many kilowatt hour of energy storage? Is it 10, 15, 25, or 30? 10, 15, 25, or 30? So I see most of you have chose, the majority of you have chose 39%, which is at the 30 kilowatt hour. So let's see if this is the correct answer. So yes, correct. This is 30 kilowatt hour. So just to recap on what Mr. Jason has implied earlier, for one inverter, you can connect up to 2 power modules, which is capable to go up to 30 kilowatt hour worth of energy storage. So let's see who's the leaderboard. Second one. The first one is Chang Wei. Second, WNFA, Lakshan, Ai, and Hao. So for the remaining 55 participants, please, you also have 3 more questions to catch up. So let's see the third question now. So what are the operating modes for Huawei's Luna 2000 smart energy storage solution? Is it maximum self-co, fully fed to grid, or the third one, time of use, TOU feature? So what are the operating modes for Huawei's Luna 2000 smart energy storage solution? So majority, I would say 85% of you have chosen the 1, 2, 3, which is maximum self-co, fully fed to grid, and time of use. So let's see if that's the correct answer. Yes, it is the correct answer. So just to recap, Huawei's Luna 2000 smart energy storage is able to do all of the above, which is maximum self-co, fully fed to grid, and also time of use feature, depending on the scenario that is required on the residential household. And the fourth, and before that we go to who are the leaderboards. So it's Chang Wei, WNFA, Lakshan, Jack, and Hao. So I see a new face over here, Jack. So let's see if you're able to sustain that leaderboard. So let's see for the fourth question. So what is the standard warranty period for Cleanergy's mounting structure? Is it 6 years? Is it 12 years? Is it 18 years? Or is it 24 years? 6 years, 12 years, 18 years, or 24 years? So once again, the majority have 73% majority have chosen 12 years. So let's see if this is the correct answer. Yes, it is correct. So just to recap on what Mr. Rafael has mentioned, Cleanergy's mounting structure is able to cater up to 12 years of product warranty. And for the last question, so what are the various types of residential rooftop solutions provided by Cleanergy? Is it tile roof, concrete roof, metal deck roof, or is it sunroof? So what are the various types of residential solutions provided by Cleanergy? So the majority of you have chosen for 79%, which is tile roof, concrete roof, and metal deck roof. So let's see if this is the correct answer. Yes, it is the correct answer. Just once again, just to recap on what Mr. Rafael has mentioned, Cleanergy is able to cater to various types of residential rooftops, ranging from tile roof, concrete flat roof, and also metal deck roof. So sunroof is not included because this is the sunroof that we have on the cars lah. Okay, so let's see who are the winners for this second quiz. So the first one is Jack, second one is IAU, the third one is Lee, the fourth one is WNFA, and the fifth one is RE. So congratulations to these winners. So once again, please drop me an email. Let me just reshare my screen very shortly. I'll reshare my screen for you to drop the email over to me. Okay, so for the 5 winners that has been shown in the screen or on your phone earlier, once again, please drop me an email to send me an email on weijie.leong@kvc.com.my with subject KVC webinar gift redemption. I'd like to repeat myself, please drop me an email, weijie.leong@kvc.com.my with subject KVC webinar gift redemption for us to deliver the special gift to you. So I think we have gone into the agenda we have all been waiting for, which is the panel discussion on residential solar. So before that, I'd like to introduce all the 5 panelists that we have today, which is Mr. Davis, Mr. James from Huawei, Mr. Stephen from KVC, Mr. Vincent from Kenergy, and also IR Muhammad Zamri from SEDA. But just before we dive deep into the panel discussion, probably we can just do a bit of background study on the panelist. So the first one is Mr. Stephen. So he has been working in KVC for the past 16 years and has been an integral strategist to spearhead the organization's evolution from product supply to turnkey supply solutions. So with a common objective of to help customers to build, operate, optimize, and enhance their assets. And the second one is Mr. James Lee from Huawei. So he's the Solution Director of Malaysia, which he has been in the PV industry for the past 10 years and has accumulated rich experiences from project development to O&M. So from this, he brings along a more holistic approach in providing value-added service and also information to the market. And the third panelist is Mr. Vincent Chan, Head of International Sales from Kenergy. So for the past 16 years, he has developed exceptional project management skills and a dynamic perspective towards all things renewable. So within his 3 years in Kenergy, he has managed to help together with the team to secure over 1 gigawatt worth of solar trackers, ground mount fixed tilt PV mountings, and also rooftop PV mounting solution across the APAC region, the Asia Pacific region. And the fourth panelist is IR Muhammad Zamri. So IR Muhammad Zamri is currently attached to the Market Operation Division of SEDA, Sustainable Energy Development Authority, which is more focused in the solar rooftop program. And prior to that, he's a professional engineer registered with the Board of Engineers Malaysia and is currently a corporate member of Institution of Engineers Malaysia. So previously, he has involved in multiple conventional power plant and renewable energy projects before he entered SEDA. And the last panelist, which is, we did a rough introduction, which is Mr. Davis Chong, President of MPIA. Once again, he is the group CEO and one of the performing members of SolarVest Holdings Berhad, in which has continuously implemented EPCC strategic commercial plans ranging from rooftop to utility scale solar. So welcome to all panelists, Mr. Stephen, Mr. James, Mr. Vincent, Mr. Davis, and also IR Muhammad Zamri. So the first question that we need to discuss on this in this PV panel discussion, because in our audiences, they range from different kinds of market. Some of them may be from the service provider, some of them may be M&E contractors, some of them which are from the developers, and some of them which are also end users. So we need to, the first question that we need to look at today is, how do we actually improve the uptake rate of residential solar PV? Because as mentioned by Mr. Davis earlier, is that the difference between residential solar PV and also CNI solar is actually very big. The amount of quota applied and also approved, the contract is actually very big. So in that sense, how are we able to actually improve the uptake rate of residential solar PV?
You want to go first? Hi, James. Maybe I recap a little bit on my deck that we put in the government policy, the tariff, the electricity tariff in the country, and of course the price of the whole PV system as well. I think probably the things that on track since the past few years is the PV system price is really getting more and more competitive. I would say that even the labor cost, of course the inverter price, the panel price, or the BOS price is going down from 10,000 per kilowatt up to now. I think residential is about 4,000 something. So it's really give us a much more encouraging, more feasible in terms of commercializations for the people to install solar on your rooftop. That's one of the things. But what I think, like we need a bit more strong policy in terms of driving residential solar. So that probably will need Ayah Zamri to comment a little bit. Yeah, I think we can do more about the policy part and to encourage more residential rooftop solar.
Sorry, Ayah Zamri, your mic is muted.
Okay, sorry. For us, what you have proposed in your slide on the policy how to encourage the residential, actually it has been started in 2 years back. We also bring the same thing to the Ministry of Finance, and then the MPI also. I think we are working together lah.
Yeah, correct. But, I think we did align with SEDA in the past, of course. That's why we need to work together to convince the other government ministry to look a bit more on residential solar as well.
But the worst thing is we don't have the power actually. We can propose, but yes, I'm agreed that we have to take this as a challenge lah. And I think we also have do the promotion. MPI also have promotion activities since last year. But this year, SEDA also have put some promotion activities. We will go to the shopping complex. We'll meet the people. But because of supposedly we have to start in May, but because of this end of May, because of this COVID situation, we have to cancel. So I think for SEDA part, we have to make changes lah on this promotion activities. But we also support the MPIA activities since last year, and this year also we also be part of the MPIA roadshow. So this is part of our promotion activities lah.
So as any other panelists would like to top up on what Mr. Davis and also IR Zamri has mentioned earlier? Because, and then if not, then probably we'll move something to the next question, which is, I think has been mentioned by Mr. Davis earlier, because one of the key, I would say, to shake the market even harder for the residential scenario is that to have developers on board to have a solar ready house. So probably I can ask Mr. IR Zamri on probably what are the initiatives currently actually to encourage more developers to have what are the initiatives on developers model to encourage more developers to have a solar ready house to be deployed to the market? Are there any ongoing plans from SEDA or the authorities to even stir the residential solar?
Maybe for this for developer program, maybe we have to discuss a little bit with MPIA. Because why? Actually, we have started to propose this thing end of 2018, and this program we have started early 2019. It is for 2 years, but actually we want to promote for new housing area. That's why we promote the developer program. That means that before the electricity connected to the to the house to the house buyer, that means they can install the solar PV without apply first to the TNB for the electricity supply. This has gone for 2 years. We have already this program, but at the end 2020, there is nothing, no single application at all for this developer program. That's why we wasting our time to what we call to implement this program. Then we want to start again. I don't see part of the SEDA management. I don't think they will continue. So it's hard for us to convince SEDA management to continue with the this developer program. But I think it's open to NPI also. Maybe you can propose the same things, but with the better proposal for us to push this program to implement it again.
Yeah, agree. I think in the past, maybe the slow participations from developer, maybe it's just the cost is still high. I think recently since 2020 and the price of PV system has tremendously gone down. Then in fact we submitted some case for developer model in last year to SEDA as well, but it doesn't turn out to be successful. But maybe I will share a little bit of the market development for developer model. The developer is very keen to discuss about that. In fact, for SolarWise itself, we already start moving with some of the property developer to look into mass scale of residential solar house development. So that will be like 4 kilowatt to 6 kilowatt deployment to every single house. So we, of course, we see they are keen to talk, discuss, and finding the best cost of doing it. It is not really meeting their expectation yet, but I think the development is in progress. It's surely, at least the market interest is there. If the policy, if the model, developer model is there, for us to do it, I'm sure there's just a matter of time that the first pilot project will come out, maybe 200 houses or 300 houses. In fact, there are some that small developer that we're working with them right now. We do it in our own way to let them to develop a solar ready house, which they are taking the risk of doing that because they will just assume that the quota, the NEM rugged will still be around. I sell already the house with the solar, and we committed the service that we will continue to service the client after they buy the house. They go in, then we will actually apply the NEM and do the servicing for them. But it's kind of uncertainty. What if they cannot get NEM quota? So that's the problem. Not the big developer willing to take this risk, but small developer, they have probably, they are okay, I built 20 houses, fine. And they're willing to do that for maybe they're really supporting this kind of rooftop solar, renewable energy things. So we do small projects, but if we have developer model, I do believe that big developers that develop 1,000 houses, that they can enroll this program. It will be mass scale of development of residential solar. Put it in your mortgage, then you pay a low interest for your mortgage, including the PV system. Then you don't need to even pay your electricity bill after that. So I definitely think that this is a win-win for the consumer and also for the property developer.
Yeah, if I may add, I can definitely concur with what Davis has mentioned. I was fortunate enough to be a part of the initial time when we had FIT and a property developer actually did do this particular project. where we did a few hundred houses actually for various phases. And even at that time, FIT, as you know, it is like everyone's like, it's like applying for AstraZeneca almost, like applying for vaccination, because it was just really very stressful. But I think really this would be a key way to promote the residential market, especially in terms of uptake. One of the key things which I would definitely agree with Davis is that the cost is already incurred into the loan. I think that is one of the very key selling points. Like as the homeowner, you don't need to be burdened with an additional personal loan or even with credit card and so on and so forth. This is something that you would be able to actually participate and to be a part of without feeling a big pinch in your pocket. So yes, definitely, it will be very advantageous for our industry, with SEDA taking the lead and MPIA in a concerted effort in order for us to promote this kind of a developer model to increase this uptake.
Yeah, because I think we all agree that to forget about to ask for subsidy program from the government right now, right?
Yeah,
so,
completely.
So you can forget about FIT, you can forget about other subsidized program. Even though you want to ask for tax allowance, I think it's possible, but also it's kind of hard now if they want to forgo the personal income tax, to give allowance to the solar installer. The only way to enable the policy like this way, so the government doesn't need to fork out any cost, and then the market will grow by itself. So I still think this is the best way.
Exactly, I agree.
If you want to reach about 1,000 houses installed a year in Malaysia, that's probably the way. Other like other country, they can do at like in one state for Australia, they can build about few thousand houses a year. So with the government subsidized program and rebate. So I don't think that will be applicable in Malaysia at the moment.
Yeah.
So, Iran Zamri, so after hearing the thoughts from Mr. Davis and so James, do you have anything in the shortcoming plan from SEDA to actually further boost the developers initiative currently that you can probably bring up to your company management level for up the discussion?
Mr. Leong, can you continue because it's intermittent my line.
Oh, okay. Right, then probably we can go to the next topic of today is that okay, we understand that the NEM even for NEM Rakyat, NEM Goldman or NEM Nova, it's only 10 years. So it now offers one-to-one offset basis for the first 10 years. Well, what happens after 10 years? So probably in this sense, anybody from the floor, from the panelists that would like to give their thoughts on what's the technology side is able to cater to this change of the industry?
Well, I suppose if I may go first.
Yeah, of course, James.
Yeah, the nice thing is that, of course, what we are currently providing right now is a future-proof solution, especially because our inverters are already capable and compatible for the inclusion or the addition of energy storage. So in that case, of course, when you invest in such a PV system using our solution, you do not need to, in the next 10 years, concern yourself with additional investment to, say, retrofit it or to even change completely the entire unit. So I think this is a very, very key proponent that we are trying to propagate and to also to share to the masses in order to understand the implications of this NEM 3.0 policy, which again 10 years is quite a blink of an eye, and as we know, our investment is recovered in 6 to 7 years. So you got 3 years of enjoyment of this NEM, and then the next thing you know, you are stuck once again with a potential white elephant. So I think the nice thing is that, as we know, energy storage today is pretty expensive, but as the years go by, we have 10 years of potential advancements whereby we could definitely see a downward trend of the costs. So hopefully by that time, the investment costs of adding this proponent or this component will not be too prohibitive, to ensure that those who have already gotten the NEM rakyat can enjoy that benefit through our energy storage solution as well. Yeah.
James, could I put you to a situation, put you in the
yes, sure,
spotlight?
in the hot seat. By all means, please.
What do you think after 10 years for the storage price?
What do I think? Okay, well, first and foremost, right now, to be very honest with you, it's very hard to project because as we know, the pandemic has really turned the whole entire global economy upside down. Cost of every raw material, speaking just on raw material solely, you already see an upward trend, but logistics as well has also played a part. And as you know, logistics is across the board. So when that happens, everything else, it's just a snowball effect. So really at this present moment to do any projection would be to err in poor judgment, because we are in a very unique condition and situation right now. But definitely I would say, as you mentioned, and as the statistics has shown, in the initial time of FIT days, we're looking at more than 10K actually, to be honest with you, if I recall correctly. And the panel prices, I remember in 2011 we were looking at $1.20, $1.30 again, and those were back then the big boys, Panasonic, Bosch, and so the price is just astronomical. But I think that as there is a higher uptake, as there's higher technological advancements, as well as supply and demand, the natural law should be true, or should hold true, notwithstanding the pandemic, is that they will have a downward trend. And we've seen that time and again with every single aspect within the solar PV industry. That's why we are able to almost reach grid parity. In most cases, we already had reached grid parity, but of course, because of the pandemic, everything has gone upside down. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Davis. But yes, it is difficult, but I still do see in a 10-year period, because I would consider that long term. So medium term will be 5 years, 10 years and above is long term. So I think long term, it's anyone's guess, but generally speaking, it should look like a downward trend. Yeah.
I mean, it's good to see Huawei going big on storage, and then we start to see that utility storage is coming in more and more. So
Yes.
it will increase the demand, and then the continue to build out economical scale for storage.
Exactly.
So even in LSS4, well, there are plans to put in utility storage as well in Malaysia. So and we see the region of Southeast Asia, Philippines, Thailand also, they're coming up with utility storage projects, and of course China has been a lot.
Yes,
so
correct.
yeah, we do think that the economical scale is going to be near. I always got the same question from everyone that how long do you think that storage should be commercialized?
That is true.
I would think like less than 10 years.
Yep,
So
I agree.
So that 10 years is not a problem really.
Yes, exactly. And more importantly is that I think I believe we all can agree on this, is that the energy storage is the final frontier for solar PV to be a real reckoning, a force to be reckoned in terms of energy generation, because it addresses a lot of the potential issues such as intermittency, peak load shaving, and then of course nighttime generation as well. So I think as we start to see the first few phases, which should be actually the intermittency, so you will see that the expenditure is not going to be significant, or the investment is not going to be significant, but it will start to make solar PV a more attractive solution in terms of energy generation and supply. Yeah, and then when we see this progression, it will naturally then hopefully find, as we say, water finds its balance and level. So when that happens, you will see that energy storage will become a mainstay as not a complement, but as a full complete solution for solar PV. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can,
Thanks, James.
can I?
Yeah, hi, Zamri. Yeah.
Can I add something? Before we started with the NOVA program, actually we have considered for this. We also have a data for like the people who install the solar PV in the commercial and industrial. We see that most of the industry getting about 2 or 3 years return of investment. So 10 years for us is not a big deal for the industry or commercial to meet. So we also see that within the 10 years, of course, the energy storage will going down the price. So if they have more import to the grid for these 10 years, maybe after the 10 years, they need to some changes, some enhancement of their system to add with the energy storage. And we also see that about the tariff. The tariff is not going down, but there is a possibility to increase, unless for the subsidized price for the residential lah, for the people. And we also see that for Nova, we creating this program is slightly better than self-consumption and for NEDA. Actually, even without net energy metering, without Nova also, people can participate because the industry, the bill is extremely high. So they can opt also for NEDA, but the price is slightly lesser than SMP. That's all this we put into the consideration lah. That's why 10 years for us is good for the industry and commercial. Okay. Thank you. Dan.
Thanks, Ira Zamri, on your sharing. So thanks to Mr. Davis and so Mr. James as well. Then probably you can go to the next question, which is because from Malaysia solar rooftops, just to a bit backpedal the history of Malaysia's residential rooftops, but probably back 20 years back or 15 years back, there are some of them which just tile roof. And as the time actually passes by, as the era transits, there are a lot of Malaysia have different type of rooftops already, ranging from tile roof, metal decks, or some of the newer developments even have concrete flat rooftops. So in terms of that, how are we able to, because as I mentioned, our audiences ranging from the service providers, developers, some of them even are from the M&E contractors or the end users. So one of their concerns would be, due to the complexity of the various type of rooftops, how are we able to find a solution which is suitable to cater for the different types of residential rooftops for the installation? So in this
Damien,
sense,
can I take this question?
Yeah, Mr. Vincent.
Yeah, thanks. So basically, in Malaysia, we can see 5 main types of roof, like the asphalt roof, metal roof, slate roof, wooden roof, tile roof, and as you mentioned, we have the flat concrete roof nowadays for residential. So it seems complicated, it sounds complicated, but in fact, there are 2 main solutions that is available in the market. Either you do a penetration on the roof or you do a non-penetration, right? So basically, for Kenergy, we are offering a solution that is easy to install, quick to install, lightweight, and make things as easy as possible for the installer, for the EPC company. So talking about what kind of roof will be suitable for penetration or non-penetration, basically it depends a lot on the roof profile. For example, we have got metal sheet roof. Some of them, for example, clip lock roof, we can use clip lock clamps. As my colleague have presented earlier, we have over 20 types of clip lock available. So we can definitely find a suitable clip lock for the type of roof that you have. If not, we even have a universal clip lock that can fit most of the clip lock roof available. So we are trying to make things as easy as possible, for the installer. And for penetration, I understand there are a lot of feedback from the market that they have leaking on the roof, etc. So that is mainly due to poor installation, incorrect installation, and many other causes. But to be honest, for Kenergy, we have over 10 years of experience. We are one of the top supplier in Australia, over 40% market share in the residential rooftop. So we are very familiar with the different kind of roof, like tile roof, metal sheet roof, etc. So we have a different solution that can cater to different roof profile and ensure, even though for penetration solution, there will not meet any water leakage. And for all our products, we are able to provide 12-year warranty. So that is the assurance that we can give to the market to assure them that fixing solar on your roof is not that scary after all. It's not that dangerous after all. We want to give that kind of assurance to them. Yeah. So I believe our panelists will agree with me that right now we can see more and more consumer, going forward to have installation on their roof, considering the saving that they are going to see in the long term, and especially with now energy storage coming on board, definitely it makes more sense for them to put up this investment for the long run. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Vincent. So yeah, I think James, you have something to add on?
No, actually. So, I mean, since we're having such a wonderful dialogue here, I was just wanting to pose it back to Davis because my background is EPC as well. So, Davis, what do you think? I mean, from past experiences, this has been really a big cause for concern. I mean, residential homes projects, I think, is one of the most wonderful and at the same time potential nightmare when dealing with customers, because each home is an individual customer as opposed to one factory whereby you've got just a big lump sum of installation done and you've got one customer to worry. When you have like 1,000 homes, that's 1,000 customers that may be screaming at you if their roof is leaking. So Davis, maybe you could share on your end how you're muted, bro.
I think Vincent is correct. We almost can cater every kind of roof with the advancement of the technology of the mounting system, all kind of roof that we can be able to install solar. I'm not sure, just sharing about the history. In the past, we have come across the asbestos roof. It's like that and the owner really want to install that. No, I would say that the owner want to take the risk and we face the risk. That kind of roof is really challenging, and yeah, I mean, leaking is one of the issue. Other than that, I think those roof tiles, normal roof tile, metal deck, RC roof, I think it's very standard, yeah, on and off, of course, you have some little bit issue, but it's a standard issue that we're able to solve. But of course, managing O&M for residential's installation is one of the nightmare of every EPCC. I think on the peak side, then we manage, I think we need to maintain about 800 over houses from our database. So that's really a lot of job to do. And yeah, good that somehow Malaysian they don't like to continue O&M program. so we maintain less houses now. It's good now. In fact, we don't really go aggressively into residential O&M. It's not a business that you make money. It's just to build your profile to complement to your EPCC services. So if they don't want to continue, we are fine. If I maintain 1,000 houses, how big of team that I need to have in my O&M team. So it's not a fun thing, of course. I think you know that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So thanks, Vincent, James, and also Mr. Davis on your input. So actually, in regards to, I think one of the concerns from Mr. Davis is in regards to the O&M team on how it's because you have, like what you mentioned, you have 1,000 customers, then you have 1,000. If you have 1,000 houses, you have 1,000 customers that you need to cater for. So which brings to the next question, which is, I believe most of the service providers in the market, or most of the industrial players in the market, they face this common problem, is that it's hard for them to find personnel, engineers or technicians with the equal amount of technical competency to survive in the PV installation, to survive in the solar PV industry. So in this sense, how are we actually able to elevate the technical competency of solar PV installers as a whole in Malaysia? Because I think it's a very valid concern from Mr. Davis, is that if you have a very big of customer groups, then you need to have a very big of O&M team to cater for every specific customer. So in this sense, how are we actually able to improve the technical competency of our engineers in Malaysia? Yeah. So I'll pass it over to the floor. So because as I mentioned, our audiences, some of them may range from the M&E contractors, some of them are the electrical installers. So this is the part that we can actually value add to this group of customers to train them up to be more in terms of technical, to be more competent. Yeah. So I'll pass the question back onto the panelists, the list of panelists.
Yeah, I think in the past there are quite it's still a challenging things that to have a competent person in a PV industry. If I'm not going to talk about everything that charge man, installer, subcontractor, PV system designer, until everything that is still, we are still lack of resources at the moment. I think you can know that being part of the industry, you know how and the capital, the human capital right now for PV market is really valuable. You can see that good engineers is being headhunted and added everything. So I think it's good for the industry, good for the people, but of course bad for the employer that we keep on compete each other. We need more expertise and engineers in renewable energy for sure. And we have seen some courses being rolled out, like one of the university, a few university like Taylor's, I believe that I remember correctly that they have renewable energy course, So now maybe in now or next few years will be a lot of graduates from renewable energy that we don't need to be from power engineering or electrical engineering, that we can actually directly get them to work on renewable energy. They know how renewable energy works. Will be more local grads from the current course to be offered. And of course, there are, now some industry is doing badly, especially oil and gas. I have seen a lot of oil and gas people turn into power industry or renewable energy company. So there'll be more and more, I think, from management level to expert engineer level, that they are more into renewable energy. But we still need to build a lot of young engineers to become expert after this. The most importantly, the industry need to keep on growing for Malaysia. So that's what we are keep on asking the ministry to give us a further roadmap. How is the growth of our industry in Malaysia? This year we're doing 500 megawatt. Is next year we're going to be 1 giga. It's next year we're going to be more, because we bring in more and more talent and expertise into the pool, the industry. If we don't expand the domestic market, means the pie is not getting bigger and more people coming in. So it's going to be a problem of economically and socially going to be a problem. One of the other way, of course, is like what put another hat in myself for this session. That's what Solawat is going overseas we gotta find some new markets. It just cannot continue to compete in the same market size that is, if it's not increasing, then there are more players. I think everybody see that now is like everybody can solar now. so a lot of players coming in to compete as an EPCC and so on. And good that means more work resources, more engineer needed. I'm sure that when I interview talent from any fresh grad or anything, I always say that venture into this industry. It's gonna be an industry you can build yourself for 10-20 years after this. So don't afraid that you can't get a job if you work in solar or renewable energy. So we need more people.
Yeah, I think I'm totally agree with Davis. So look at it that this is like the next IT job. Okay, if you want me to term so. So back then I remember that way back in year 2000, my years after graduate from this secondary school and into this diploma. So everyone was trying to get away from engineering and into this IT industry. So and there's a point of time that I think come to the year of 2008, 2010, that a lot of IT graduates in the market, whereby our IT forces here that are able to support the whole development in the Southeast Asia region. So I remember that most of my ex-classmates, they told me that Malaysian being seen as a cheap IT labor. So because we have way too much of this member in IT. All right. So but that is what I see that it will happen for this renewable energy in the next 3-5 years. I would say so, because I think Malaysia's that it's not it's not big and not small, but we have only like a max like 3 to 4 for a coal-fired power plant that to generate the incoming supplies to all these keep on increasing 3C, be it electronics or electrical item, where we don't have enough of capacity to produce this high demand that keep going up. Hence, I think the rooftop as well as the residential rooftop is one of the crucial part that to help to sustain. We want to use a keyword to sustain the environment and also the long-term sustainability of these incoming power supplies. Of course, that will involve a lot more technologies to talk between like the battery, the storage that we have discussed. But I come back to this that I think we don't want to have this like out of sudden that the market is ready, and hopefully by the time the government policy is ready, there's those to embroil the so-called this development of residential solar. So I think it's time for us to so-called like train all these electrical competent engineers and technicians into the extension of renewable energies. So in that case, that one of the initiatives that KVC is doing now is with this Selangor Human Resource Development Center. Yeah. So that we are setting up training facilities in the premise of SHRDC. So and we are putting in all the assets and resources to help the development center to build that into one of their industrial training syllabus. So hopefully that it will achieve what like Penang Skill Development Center PSDC is doing for the electronics segment. So that we started in Selangor, because in most of the these residential solar, it's actually like still a lot of inquiries coming from the Klang Valley region. So hopefully with that not only SHRDC, but we will extend it to the nationwide development center to get more and more people aware of this and enroll into the course. So that like what David said, that definitely we will need more manpower to come and support for the O&M as well as the new development.
Yeah, so sure HSRDC is one of the more advanced
correct
partner in building this solar industry talent and bringing talents into solar industry. So in the past, they've been doing a lot of programs also with MPIA as well. I mean, one of our committee member is also sit in HSRDC. So we also signed MOU. I think we will be signed, or we have signed MOU with HSRDC to do all this training program. So that's good.
So once again, thank you to the panelists for your sharing. So if there's any questions or anything that any of the panelists on the floor would like to add on in regards to the discussion we had earlier. So if not, probably we will once again thank all the panelists on your sharing earlier, and we are a bit slightly overrun. Okay, so without further ado, I'll just move on to the next agenda, which is a slight token of appreciation to Mr. Davis and also Iman Zamri. So this is the token of appreciation from KVC together with partner with Huawei and Super Energy. So this trophy will be delivered to you because now we are in MCO. So the only way to we need to stay connected with being physical disconnected lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. So once again, we'd like to extend our gratitude to Mr. Davis, President of MPIA, and also Mr. IR Mohammad Zamri, Deputy Director of SEDA. So we'll once again we'll send these trophies to you. So yeah, that pretty much sums up our webinar for today. So once again, I would like to thank all the panelists, the speakers, and also not to forget to mention the audiences, which has stayed with this webinar for the past 2.5 hours. So before your leave, I need your help to do a bit of registration, because with Huawei we have this SNEC, which is called the Smart Energy Conference Exhibition of the Huawei's 15th Smart Energy Conference Exhibition coming this Friday. So in this conference, you can see from the agenda over here, they're doing some new product launches, the new continuous battery solutions for probably utility and CNI. So if you're interested, just scan the QR code on the right-hand side and you'll be directed to the registration page. So yeah, I'll just leave this page for probably 2 minutes. So but with that, I will sum up today's webinar. Once again, thank you everyone for joining, and we hope to see you in the next webinar. So I hope everyone stays safe, stay healthy, and we will remain connected despite being physically disconnected. So once again, thank you all. I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.